Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Juro. It is Monday, the 14th of August, 2017. How is everybody doing? I hope that wherever you are well, you were rested, you were able to be in emotional safety because you deserve that. Sidestepping the negative by grounding your feet, speaking your truth. But to speak your truth, you must identify what makes up your environment because these are the makings of you. These are what is the tapestry and the imagery that is found in your world. I wanted to take a second out and put this video out. I was away for a couple of days and I was unaware of what transpired in Charlottesville, Virginia. And when I was able to turn on the boob tube to see it splashed over my TV, it just validated what I've always been speaking. So I'm going to throw this out here right now because I've got 357 family members. First of all, there is no words that can convey how humble I am that you in your life allow me access to you. But today, this video right here, I want you to share this video on your timelines, on your Facebooks, so that it can connect to the intended heart and intended mind. Because I'm going to tell you something, family. What you don't realize is a lot of y'all got played. I'm going to let you sink that in. Because, see, there is somebody that looks just like you in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, making money off of your distraction. That's right. And I'll explain. See, while we're showing the media how fragmented we are as a community, you do not see the media putting accountability where it should be. But what makes it more sad is, as an individual, you have a responsibility to protect your legacy, to validate your identity, to be the best you ever. Because no one has the right to access your dreams. So therefore, you must make a conscious decision to plant them seeds, to put that foot down, to start and embrace your journey. Now, look, I know some of y'all are going to be like, Gerald, I don't have time for this rhetoric that you're speaking, but look at your money. Look at your money. You do know that your state of mind is a reflection of your financial growth. That is why it's always echoed that the 5 most influential people in your life is a direct correlation of your financial growth. So Why would you allow someone to dictate how far your life can go? That is really economic Stockholm syndrome when you think about it, because the top 1%, that's not going to ever come to their doorstep. And I know there are going to be plenty of people say, well, you know, that's what racists do. Well, let me explain something to you. A beautiful baby is never born to be a racist. It is taught. No different if you have a loyal pet. So shout out to my pet owners. That is nothing but an extension of your home. They just happen to wear a fur coat, but you treat them like they were your child. Who am I talking to? So when I hear and see smeared in the media, there was a dog mauling, there was a vicious attack, the accountability should be where that pet resides. So if there's no structure in that residence, the environment will not have any structure. Why do we not see the correlation? So let me just jump on the hot topic, because there are going to be a lot of people that are going to have plenty to say about the positions that they speak in regards to racism. You do understand, let's call it for what it is, family. You got people connected to you that look just like you break bread with you, that have fear, because that's all it is, fear and ignorance. And birds of a feather flock together, don't they? So you can't have a blurred line of, well, I agree to what he or she says, but that's not who I am. But if you put yourself in that environment, you're condoning it, so you might as well be saying it. And I understand, because a lot of these beliefs, practices, ideologies come from our elders from a different time. But why is it in 2017, the most technological period known to mankind, we still will not address for whence we came? Why is that? What you afraid of? That it's the truth? But here's the funny thing. See, I've been all over the world. One of the things I like doing is getting out and about and driving. Yeah, you might see me blow by you in my Jeep, going to and fro in the town near you, in the city near you, in the state near you, because it's about learning. You do understand, if you don't step out of your comfort zone, you can't grow. That means you're stagnant. And anything that has a stagnant position becomes toxic. And what does toxicity do? It yields death. But found, what I saw in the clips that you're going to see all over, because we also know that drama makes money, a lot of those were staged. And I'm not saying like, no. What I'm trying to explain is, when you see the clips, why was the perfect angle and the perfect camera shot, and why? Hmm? But you can't find not one person to be positive. Why? Why can't you have that same passion in your own community? Why? Because they know that deep down inside you do this and there's no action. Therefore, there is no threat. See, we can always say we want a better world, but you'll never have a better world until you decide to be a better you. Who am I talking to? Your history is being rewritten, family, right before you. You're not doing anything about it. You put more energy on materialism than your own self-worth. But what we fail to realize is your history that is playing out now is being revealed to you because God is asking you, did you get the message? Stop using the term of being woke when you're not. Because everybody knows that even a person that is in coma can have their eyes open. Wisdom obtained, knowledge embraced. See, a person that sees their worth automatically unconditionally loves themselves. They're not going to disrespect themselves. They're not going to put themselves in a light of compromise. They're not going to do that. They're going to embrace their humility because they also understand that your greatest lessons you will ever come to know is your life. So why squander it? Why allow someone to put their proverbial boot on your name? This is something to think about, family. It's easy to turn around and say, well, things would be different if they didn't do this. Stop worrying about what's going on in your neighbor's yard and look at the snakes that are right below your feet. But then that's too easy to do. Because to do that, that means you must claim you. Do you know who you are? You're quickly to share videos of disrespect, but then you get offended when they mock you. But not one video will you put out that shows grace, that shows imagery of what a man looks like, what a woman looks like. How about a person that walks with God? What about them? Now, this is not about ego. Oh, no, it's not. It's about humanity, family. And let's look at it from a national point of view. You do know the people that don't live here in the United States, they're laughing at us. And they're picking their shots. While you're worrying about who holds the highest position on this sacred land, you can't even govern your own home. Who am I talking to? See, we have been conditioned. Well, I haven't because I see my value and I love my life. I value every breath that comes out of my lungs because I know for a fact that I didn't have to wake up today. Especially if you're a father. You know how sacred that word is? Hmm? And you're wondering why our babies are running rampant in the streets. Because you're too busy trying to be their friend and not their parents. But I get it. I get it. I get it. Your position is, who am I to correct and chastise when I did the same thing? Therefore, you are repeating the generational curse. You are setting another generation to relive the pain the torment, the trauma, because you failed to claim your own placement in your family tree. I at one time I made this comment long ago. I said, if your elders had the ability to step through a door, just for a moment, would they greet you with a hug and a kiss, or would they beat you with a switch? And that's the problem, because a lot of you did not have correction. A lot of you did not have guidance, and you were forced to figure it out. This is not judgment, family. This is a call to claim you. Because until you decide to claim you, guess what? You ain't got to worry about your future. It will be decided for you. Now, on a sidebar or a caveat, here's something you might want to think about too. In a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, you may not realize this, but they're cutting these trees down quicker than they can grow them. They have a attitude of out with the old, in with the new, but yet they have not learned the lessons of what put it there, only to repeat over and over and over again. But here's the funny thing. The same strategy, you may know it as regentrification, but it's actually economic. So the same areas that was plush and surreal will be a new building. Where there were areas for the kids to play, there'll be a new shopping center. And you're wondering why it's hard to breathe. Because the trees release oxygen. They absorb the carbon dioxide. Without those trees, you might as well go ahead and get you a sleep apnea machine, because that's where you're headed. It is no surprise, family, the bees are dwindling. The birds are not chirping. And the diseases continue to thrive. Why? Because you're messing with the ecosystem. That was what God gave you. You remember, God told man everything you need comes from the earth, just as you. But if you don't protect your legacy, family, that little hash mark, it means nothing. That hash mark will be replaced with a decimal point in someone's bank account. The irony is this. I know you're angry. Some of you are downright terrified because you have no clue of where you're going. You want to know where you're going? Look at your past. Because until the humility comes, can the healing begin? Meanwhile, I know there are some that are going to say, well, Gerald, that was white on white crime. That was domestic terrorism. But yet you still had who? Black Lives Matter. When you going to let that go, family? When you going to tell the truth? There's an agenda under that. I kept telling y'all. Guess who's underneath all that? LGBT. Why? Because while you're distracted on that, they're taking care of this. Now, at the end of the day, the goal should be to be able to sleep peacefully, to speak your truth, to raise your children, to define your legacy as it was given from your first breath. So stop worrying about what's going on today when you can't even look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. Because what's really sad, we are the epitome of what greed looks like. Mass consumption at all costs. You are spending every last dime you get, but yet you get mad when they don't take you serious because they look at you as liquid assets. They don't take you serious because you don't take yourself serious. Now, I know there'll be some that won't get this, and there'll be a lot of opportunists that will turn around and say, you just hating, Gerald. My response to you is this. You represent your grandmother? What about your granddad? What about every tear that they shed? What about every adversity they had to put on their back to ensure that your existence came? Because that's what it's all about, family. It is about the unborn. So let's look at it from a literal sense of when you go, what are you leaving? I remember one time, one movie that was a hip hop classic. It was called Juice. And Juice was a metaphor just for having respect, being the guy. And there was a scene where Tupac Shakur told Omar Epps' character, which was Quincy, short for Q, and they had a debate in a robbery. And Tupac told Quincy, you need to check yourself because he was thinking about his future and the impact of this robbery. Your environment is a reflection of your state of mind. You give permission to those who have access to your state of mind because you give access to who you have, who you who you align yourself with. So you can't turn around and say it just so happens. Nothing happens. It's all spiritual, family. Always was and always will be. It just depends on how much struggle and pain that you will have to take before you finally humble yourself. So what does it leave you? What does it leave me, Gerald, if I humble myself? It's quite simple. It's the real you. But see, I understand you're not going to see this on TV. I understand that. But I'm talking to the real you. Because if you're treating your self-worth like a concession line or a hustle and bustle to the checkout line, you won't find your self-respect on the end of that receipt. You won't find it there. You won't find your identity there either. So with that being said, why are you putting so much energy to be like them when they can't live your life? Even the media tried to appease the masses and they put out a little PSA with LeBron and said we don't need no LeBrons, and y'all saw it. What does it take to be you? Because until you decide to be you, don't complain. Don't complain about how many men you allow on top that precious body of yours. Don't complain. Don't complain when your wallet's on the ground and another lost little girl in a woman's body has had her way with it. Don't complain. But what you need to do is look that person in the mirror. The same person in the mirror that woke up, and ask yourself, are you awake? Do you like what you are seeing? Because if you don't like what you're seeing, why won't you make a decision to grow? Because I'm going to tell you what, you don't hear, you don't see none of this on the front doors of the movers and the shakers in this world. It never makes it there. The environment is pristine. Now you could turn around and say, "Oh, well, that's a white thing, Joe." Let me tell you something. There are people who look just like you with the same mentality. You just haven't seen it yet. So I find it kind of ironic though, because you have so many people passionate about history. But if you're going to tell history, tell the truth. Because there were many people connected to that history. If you really want to go there, what about them indigenous people that came by way of Africa? They came here. You know them as Native Americans, but civilization started in Africa. You can't change that. What about the descendants of Esau? Hmm? He denounced his. Well, for those who are in science, you know science so well, then you also see the example of environmental change. You don't believe me? Think about this. Did you notice the last Olympics? 85% of the people that were in that, the melanin was very strong. You don't believe me? Did you watch the last race for Usain Bolt? Even though I think that one was, yeah. But did you see how that was represented? See, at one time, family, our beautiful seven continents was warm. That's why it looks like a puzzle today. Water levels rises, water levels descend. And being that scientists want to use the term of, well, cavemen and Neanderthals, they were hunters and gatherers. Well, you're telling me that the hunters didn't follow the prey? And I'll do one better, and I'm going to get off this soapbox. Why is it that you see traditions and cultures all over the world, but the origin is the same? For example, you take the people of New Zealand and you look at the people of Samoa, Tonga, Fiji. You ever look at their characteristics? Dig a little bit deeper and look at the Aborigine, which is only like 1% now because they made sure that lineage, that bloodline was thinned out. That's why your melanin looks the way it does. And then you have those that will want to use the term purity. But let me tell you something. Like it or not, there's only 5 shades of brown on this planet. The lightest shade that you'll ever come to see was the same as Noah. Remember Noah? Noah's Ark? He was an albino. That's the lightest shade. So if you want to go genetics, and I'm going to get off of this, there's no such thing as a white person. There's no such thing as a black person. They don't exist. When you add environmental exposure, your skin will adjust. It has to. But one thing that will not change is that beautiful mind. So while they turn around promoting separatism, the same people want you to feel that way because deep down inside, they're terrified of the truth. They have to have a rebel with a cause mindset. And these people work with you. These people are your neighbors. These people are connected to you by your bloodline. So while there are same people out here talking about, I'm going to out this person and I'm going to out that, I'll just say this. You ain't got to do that. How do you think your life is going to turn out by not claiming? How well you think that's going to work out? Hmm? Family, it's time for you to reel that in and get your priorities together. As long as you keep looking away, you're getting vandalized from within. Oh, yeah. And this whole thing right here, this ain't nothing but economic regentrification all over. Because the same thing that's going to play out, they're just going to buy the land cheap, like they've always done. Why can't you see it for yourself? God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. It's not your responsibility to get your homegirl straight. It's your responsibility to be the example. Maybe now, God is trying to show you that it's time for you to come back home. It's time for you to claim yourself. Or you can fulfill the prophecy known as the generational curse and do like so many chose not to do. Sit on the sidelines of your life. So don't get mad because people are living and you choose not to be part of it. So now you can close your mouth. Close your mouth and just think, do you represent for your children? How about your children's children? Or are you part of the problem? I tell you, King, There's more to you than what's swinging between your legs. It's protection of your legacy. Be blessed.